Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Good? Can I get a little woo? Woo? Okay. My name's Shurmantine. I'm the Senior Director of Global Partnerships for MassChallenge, and I'm really, really excited to be with you all here today. Before I get started, could I just have a quick show of hands? How many of you consider yourself to be entrepreneurs? Okay, a few. How many of you are here representing the government? You're here on behalf of the public sector. Okay. What about corporations, big business, established businesses? Okay, a few there. And then universities, academia. Anyone also representing that group? Yep. Finally, the investment community. Angels, risk capital investors, venture capitalists. Okay, a couple there? Great. So pretty much everyone from the Thai entrepreneurial ecosystem and the global entrepreneurial ecosystem, every stakeholder group is represented. That's really awesome. So as you heard from our founder, John, MassChallenge is all about value creation. That's what we care about. We've been doing this for 7 years all around the world, and we've seen a lot of great startups. We've seen a lot of startups fail. We've seen a lot of startups succeed. And we've worked with every member of the global entrepreneurial ecosystem in order to help generate sustainable impact and sustainable value creation. That's what we're all about. That is our mission, to catalyze a global startup renaissance. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about MassChallenge, my organization. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our story, what we do, how we operate, and I'll use it as a case study to give you an example of how we're operating in the global startup ecosystem. And then I'll tell you a little bit about our startups, some stories from some startups that have been through the program, and then I'll tell you some of the things that we're doing around the world. I just want to emphasize that we believe that entrepreneurs flourish in a dense, connected, and diverse entrepreneurial ecosystem, and that's why we're so excited to be here in the Thai entrepreneurial ecosystem and to learn more about how you all are starting to support entrepreneurs and make an impact in your community. So what is MassChallenge? MassChallenge is the most startup-friendly accelerator on the planet. That's what we call ourselves. What does that mean? It means that we put the startup first. We put the startup at the center of the equation. We prioritize the high-impact entrepreneur, those individuals who are at the origin of the value chain, those individuals that are creating new businesses, new jobs, new growth, new opportunity, new wealth, prosperity, and solving real hard problems for our societies and for our economies. So everything that we do, we seek to put the entrepreneur first. We operate as a not-for-profit organization. We do not take equity from the startups that we support. We have a mission-driven approach to entrepreneurship. Every year, we open a global call for applications. Startups can apply into our program, early-stage startups. Anyone with any idea from anywhere in the world can apply to MassChallenge. Every year, we also run an accelerator. So we take around the top 8% of startups that apply into MassChallenge and welcome them into our physical accelerator. We have offices in locations around the world, and I'll show you in a minute where we're operating. And startups work together. They learn from each other. They engage in peer mentorship. They engage with our group, our mentors, our investor community, our corporate community, our foundations and government supporters, and they seek to demonstrate their value, and they seek to accelerate their growth. At the end of the program, we give away cash. So we're focused on removing friction from the equation for startups. So we don't take equity. We give away non-dilutive cash grants to the winning startups in our program. So we've seen some really, really great metrics. We've seen some really great traction from this model, this sort of innovative and different model of startup support that we've been doing for a number of years. So we've had over 1,200 startups that have graduated from the program. They've collectively raised over $2 billion in funding, generated about $900 million in revenue, and created about 65,000 direct and indirect jobs all around the world. This kind of economic impact is huge. And these are just early-stage startups. We are just getting started. So we're really, really excited to see this kind of momentum. And we think that our model is also differentiated. So we work with MIT very closely, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is based in Boston, where our global headquarters are located. And they found that a MassChallenge startup is about twice as likely to achieve significant job growth and significant fundraising success as a non-MassChallenge startup. About 80% of our startups are still active today. So that's really, really exciting. And this is what we mean by global. Today, startups need to have a global mentality from day one if they truly plan to compete on the global entrepreneurial stage. They need to be thinking like a multinational entrepreneur. They need to be connected to international resources. And we believe that this is fundamentally important. So from the very beginning, from day one of MassChallenge, we have been open to startups from all around the world. But we believe that talent is democratically distributed around the world. It's not enough for us to just have our center in Boston and accept startups there into the United States. No, we need to go out to where the startups are. And so since 2012, we have been on an aggressive growth trajectory, seeking to expand our model and seeking to launch new MassChallenge programs and new Bridge to MassChallenge programs in every region of the world and to be present on every populated continent. So there is a MassChallenge program on every populated continent at this point, including our Bridge to MassChallenge programs. And we have supported entrepreneurs from 81 different countries, which is really exciting. And I just really want to emphasize to you how we think about startup support, how we think about entrepreneurial success and innovation. It cannot just be about MassChallenge and our staff directly working with the startups. We rely on the active engagement and involvement, participation and support from every stakeholder within the entrepreneurial ecosystem in order for us to help be at the center and generate high-impact startups. We have to work with experienced entrepreneurs and mentors, people that have been there and done that, like the gentleman who was just in front of me who was one of the earliest startup success stories in Thailand. It's really impressive. We have to rely on those individuals, but not just those individuals who can be mentors. We have to work with corporates, with foundations, with government, with the media, with the public, with universities, with investors. Every key stakeholder has a role to play, and only when we're tightly coordinated, working together and focused on the outcome of startup support and startup growth can we really achieve that level of impact. A coalition of stakeholders within an ecosystem is fundamentally critical. So I've talked a little bit about MassChallenge. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories of some of the startups that we've worked with that I think are really exciting. So this is Francis. Francis is one of the founders of a startup called EYL. EYL is a Korean startup. They came through MassChallenge in 2016, in last year's cohort in our Boston program. So most encryption systems rely on software algorithms to generate random numbers. The core technology of EYL harnesses the power of nature, of radioactive isotopes to generate quantum entropy, so the ultimate in random number generation. It's a highly, highly secure system, and it's a way for IoT to be protected from hackers. We all know what a critical subject cybersecurity is at this stage, and so there's a huge opportunity for EYL to make a huge impact and to solve a really, really important problem. Since coming through MassChallenge last year and winning our top prize out of over 5,000 applications, they were one of the top winners. They won $100,000 in equity-free grants. They have since set up a US-based headquarters outside of Washington, D.C., and they've landed one of their first major enterprise clients. Here's another startup. I wanted to also show an example of biotechnology because I think there's huge opportunity for the biotechnology and life sciences healthcare innovation landscape here in Thailand. So Genko Bioworks is another alumni of MassChallenge from one of our earlier classes, and they design custom microbes for clients across multiple markets around the world to produce chemicals, ingredients, and industrial enzymes. So pretty interesting, hard science innovation, solving a really important problem for their clients. Since graduating from MassChallenge, they've relocated to Silicon Valley, where they have raised $154 million, and they've now pivoted their business, and they've launched one of the largest DNA sequencing agreements with 700 base pairs with several large biotechnology customers. So this is huge within their industry, and we're really excited to see them grow and make an enormous impact in the world of biotech. And I'll share with you another example, one more example, the last one, from one of our startups, again from one of our earlier classes. They're called Flywire. So Flywire is focused on helping people make secure, large dollar amount money transfers between businesses, academic institutions, and hospitals. And Flywire was founded back in 2009. Really, the idea for it came around 2009. The founder, Iker is from Spain, and he was a student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology at MIT, and he had some problems trying to transfer money. He made a tuition payment, but he realized that it didn't go through. It was lost in the process. And when he looked into it further, he realized that the money transfer industry, the money transfer process, is super inefficient and full of hidden costs. So he wanted to solve that problem, and he saw a huge opportunity for him to help other countless international students like himself. So he founded Flywire. They went through MassChallenge a few years ago in 2011. And since then, they've raised about $43 million, and they have expanded their business from academic institutions into hospitals, and they've just announced B2B international business-to-business money transfers. So we're seeing how these startups are coming from all over the world, focused on really different problems, but all focused on solving big problems and making a big impact while leveraging a global community. So what does the story of Flywire tell us and some of these other stories? I think there's a couple things that I really want to highlight. Again, to bring it back to this, I guess the subject of my talk is creating the startup-friendly accelerator global experiences, because we really all need to be thinking globally at this point about an impact that we want to create. So Iker had his problem. He was able to start his startup as a response to it. And it wasn't tremendously difficult for him to start it. It's becoming more and more easy for startups to start businesses, for people to use technology and leverage the ubiquity of technology and the enormous impact that technology has and digital transformation has on our daily lives in order to have an enormous impact. And he was able to start this business. Millions of people are becoming internet users every day. And there's about 2 million apps available now, more than that at this point. But what we're finding is that actually startups are still failing at the same rate. Between 90 and 95% of all startups will fail. And actually, in the United States, new business creation, net new business creation, is at an all-time low. So this is coming at a time when we actually need startups more than ever. We need startups, we need new businesses to come and solve these huge problems. But we also need them for the future of our global prosperity and the global economic order. The World Bank estimates that by 2020, we will need at least 600 million new jobs just to meet the demands of young people entering into the job market from places like Africa and here in Asia and Southeast Asia. And at the same time, technology is absolutely transforming the way that people work, the nature of work, disrupting entire industries, and absolutely transforming the way that people work and the availability of jobs in different industries. It's also creating new industries. So it's super interesting to see the way in which technology and digital transformation is disrupting our economic order, but also creating new opportunities. So you can see how the work of EYL and Genko Bioworks and Flywire is fundamentally important right now. But they can't do it on their own. Startups cannot be successful totally on their own and in a vacuum. They need to be supported. We need to come together as a global entrepreneurial ecosystem and as individual communities within those ecosystems to support them, to create the infrastructure, to create the collaborative framework, and to create the opportunity for startups to be successful. Because talent is distributed everywhere evenly, but opportunity is not. So this is, whoops. I'm clicking the wrong button. So this next picture is a picture of me in Colombia. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we are doing to help solve this problem, to help communities and to help ecosystems actually create a more supportive, robust, and stronger infrastructure holders. So we launched a program called Bridge to Mass Challenge in 2012. And through Bridge to Mass Challenge, we help ecosystem leaders all around the world to build better innovation economies. And we do it by workers, and to do it by working together in a coalition of stakeholders in conjunction with leaders, by helping to identify the key problems within their innovation ecosystems, and by helping them to address those problems. So this is a picture of me about 7 or 8 months ago in Bogota, in Colombia and South America, where we worked with the Colombian federal government to identify the core challenges facing that ecosystem and facing the government and the government agencies' ability to address it, the ability to address startup support and startup success, and to help plug a hole and fill a gap. So SENA was the name of the agency. They have embarked upon a very ambitious program to train and to build a network of mentors throughout the country in over 100 different regional centers. So it's a huge undertaking in a country that is geographically diverse, that is demographically diverse, with centers in the jungles and centers in the beaches and in the mountains and in the valleys. And so Mass Challenge goes to where these individuals are and goes and supports them and trains the next generation of startup mentors and people that are going to deliver real value and real expertise into the global entrepreneurial ecosystem and into the economic prospects and the long-term economic future of Colombia. So that's a really, really exciting project. And we're starting to do more and more of these. So this is just a picture from 2 days ago, or I think of 2 days ago or yesterday, of me here at Startup Thailand. And this has been a really exciting experience for me because what I'm seeing here is an enormous amount of dedication, enthusiasm, and a real willingness and commitment to supporting entrepreneurs, but not just to do that, to work together and to really come together and to create opportunities and to support the growth of entrepreneurs throughout the ecosystem. So that's really, really exciting. And that's something that we want to see more of and that we want to support. And we're in the process of determining whether there might be an opportunity for Mass Challenge to support the Thai ecosystem in collaboration with T-Cells and in collaboration with the government. So thanks again for the opportunity to come here and to meet all of you and to share with you a little bit about the Mass Challenge model and about the Mass Challenge story. So that's really all that I had to share with you. I wanted to share some of those stories about Mass Challenge. My final message I would communicate is to join us. Please join us. We're really excited to be here. We're really excited to continue to grow our mission, to launch in new places, to launch in new ecosystems around the world, and to help further our mission, which is to catalyze a global startup renaissance. So we hope to be here soon. We hope to launch a new Mass Challenge program here. We would love to do that in collaboration with all of you. If you are an ecosystem leader, talk to us about joining our Bridge to Mass Challenge program that we're hoping to challenge. We will be open for applications in just a few months in our global locations. So you can find out more information on our website, and feel free to reach out to me. My email address is kara@masschallenge.org. Can I take questions? Is it possible to take questions from here? Yes? Okay. Since I have some more time, I would actually love, if anyone has any questions, I would love to answer them. If anyone is bold enough to ask me a question from the audience.
Yes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask her. มีท่านใดมีคำถามไหมคะ เชิญได้เลยนะคะ Yes, of course. We have the question from the floor to you, Kara.
Excellent.
Sumon Bavitranand from T-Cells.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I heard so much about MassChallenge and really glad that you're here. I have a question. I haven't been working much in terms of startup. In those 1,200 startups that you work with, anyone that can be a unicorn startup?
Yeah, that's a great question. So of these 1,200 startups that we referenced that have gone through MassChallenge, how many of them are unicorns? The answer is quite a few of them. So what I didn't include here is valuations. Valuations are not always public for startups. We do have that data internally. We don't always share it because it's not always in the best interest of our startups. But this startup, for example, I do not know what their last term sheet said, but they've raised $154 million. So their valuation is well north of $1 billion, and they are a privately held company. So many of our startups would have unicorn status by the definition of a unicorn, which is a privately held company that has over $1 billion valuation. So we're really excited to see those startups continue to grow and continue to hopefully go onto the public markets and make a really big splash with really significant market capitalizations.
I think people would be interested in you because this is just nonprofit, where you get money, and those people who put money in, they don't really expect any money back at all.
Yeah, so that's a great question. That question, thank you for that. That has to do with, okay, so like, where's the catch? Like, I think a lot of people ask me this question. I was meeting with an entrepreneur yesterday and telling her a little bit about our model, and she said to me, it seems too good to be true, actually. And I think it's not, really. I mean, so at the end of the day, we are a not-for-profit. We view our role within the innovation ecosystem to be that of a facilitator, of a platform, of a way to bring people together. And we want to let the startups do the value creation, and we want to help the rest of the community add value to their startup, to their innovations and to the new ventures and new growth that they're creating, and capture some of that value. But that's not our role. Our role is not necessarily to capture that value. Our role is to facilitate and to help create more value. So we see ourselves as part of that innovation infrastructure, and by tightly coordinating and working closely together with all of these different stakeholders of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, we have the ability to generate even more value. That's what our founder was saying in the video that I played before, because it's really not about, you know, if everyone's trying to get their slice of the pie and fighting over their slice of one pie, but nobody is focused on baking more pie and increasing the size of the overall value that is available, that's not a sustainable solution. That's not a sustainable way to think about an economic order. And so we're really trying to flip that on its head. That's how we see our role within the global economy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question for me?
มีท่านใดมีคำถามอื่นๆเพิ่มเติมอีกไหมคะ
There's one question.
เชิญค่ะ We love to listening to question from the floor as well, right? Please.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
I want to ask the MassChallenge that you said you're going to operate in the next few months. Can you tell the scope of the field of startup that you need in MassChallenge?
Yeah, so that's a great answer. And we will be open in our global locations. So right now, there's a few that I showed where we'll have applications opening, but we'll have a few more programs that will be online next year. I just can't tell you where yet. But the question is about what startups do we look for? And the answer is we look for high impact, high potential. So when our judges evaluate a startup application and a startup pitch, last year we received about 5,000 applications from 81 different countries for 350 spots, right? So it was a pretty competitive process to get into MassChallenge Accelerator. And we have a global network of about 1,000 expert judges that we have recruited. These are individuals with significant expertise in startup experience or a specific sector. That maybe they're a corporate executive, or maybe they're an investor, or maybe they're an academic or a legal expert that has IP expertise, for example. What our judges look for is, does the startup have an innovative, transformative, and disruptive idea in any industry? It can be in life sciences, in digital healthcare, it can be in clean tech, energy, social impact, consumer products. Doesn't matter, the startup has to demonstrate that they have a significant impact, an impactful idea that is going to change the world or change their industry. They also have to demonstrate that they actually have the potential to execute on that idea. Ideas are everywhere. If you're an entrepreneur and you have an idea right now, probably somebody else in the world has that same idea, but maybe they don't have the team that you have to execute on that idea. And so we're also looking for potential. We're looking for the strategy, the secret sauce, the unique approach, the unique technology, the unique team that can execute on that idea. The process itself is relatively straightforward. There's an application. It's pretty short. It's a written application. The challenge is actually fitting your answers into the relatively tight slots that we have for you to fill it in. And then you'll be given written feedback on your application from our judges, regardless of whether you make it into the accelerator. So even that process, the process of applying to MassChallenge, the process of going through the rigorous judging experience, maybe being invited to a pitch, maybe getting into the accelerator, that is designed to add value to the startup. It's designed to force you to think of questions and answer questions that you really should be answering if you're very serious about your business. So to your question, anyone with any idea anywhere in the world can apply to MassChallenge, and we invite all of you to do so. I have 2.5 minutes left, according to the clock. I would welcome any other questions that you have, or you're welcome to speak with me afterward as well.
เรามีเวลาอีก2 นาทีอยู่คุณคาร่านะคะไม่ทราบมีท่านใดมีคำถามอีกไหมคะ I think that everybody here would like to have your contact to stay connected with you.
Great.
Right?
Sorry,
to stay connected with you because
Absolutely. Yeah, so my email address, I'll just tell you all now because I do not have enough business cards. It is Kara, K-A-R-A, @masschallenge.org. So you're all welcome to reach out to me. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with all of you.
This is Kara Shurmantine from MassChallenge. Well, she make it well understood as well. I think that everybody here agree with me. That I'm no wonder anymore, Kara, that why the Boston Globe recognized you as one of the Boston's 25 most innovative people under 25 in 2015. We love you. Okay.